Hello, I'm John McBay, and this is a brief introduction to the video series Image Editing for Real Estate Photography. I'm an active real estate photographer, and the material in the 30-plus chapters of this series represent real problems that I've encountered while shooting listing photography and the solutions I've developed to overcome them. With more than 40 hours of video, this series will teach you how to fix most of the common and many not so common real estate photography image issues. From the basics, such as correcting lens distortion and straightening verticals, to much more advanced techniques such as getting the perfect twilight shot, or inserting a replacement sky, capturing the all-important view out the window, painting brown grass green, removing color casts, or getting rid of unwanted shadows no matter where they are, or shooting straight into a mirror. I will show you how to overcome all of these challenges and many more. These and dozens of other editing techniques will be clearly demonstrated and explained. Using the information in these videos will help you make your listing images look their absolute best. Each chapter begins with a discussion of the problem, what is causing it, and additional considerations that will help you better understand the issues. In some instances, I'll explain how to avoid the problem in the first place, or at least how to minimize it as much as possible. Where there is more than one technique or tool that will fix the issue, I will demonstrate each and let you know which one I think works best or is quickest and why. Every step and every tool used in the editing process, as well as their associated parameters, will be explained and demonstrated in detail. Additionally, I'll not only show you how to fix the problem, but how to fine-tune the result so that your images will look their best. To give you an idea as to the type of material in the various chapters and how it is presented, I'm going to show you short sections of video from several of the chapters in this series. If you'd like to see a brief description of each of the chapters, along with before and after images, I urge you to watch the overview videos. You'll find a link to them on this page. All right, let's get started. Our first example is from Chapter 4, Sky Replacement. And at this point in the editing process, I've dragged a sky image behind the house image and positioned it. I've created a selection of just the sky. And from this point onward, all we need to do is create a layer mask on the sky layer, change the blending mode of the house layer from normal to darken. And then we need to adjust the sky because it's obviously too deep and saturated, too deep blue and saturated. So make sure the sky layer is the active layer. We'll create a new brightness contrast adjustment layer and brighten up just the sky, not too much. Once again, click on the sky layer, create a hue and saturation adjustment layer. I'm going to add a little bit of blue saturation, and then I'm going to lighten the sky right to the point where I think it should be. And as you can see, you can adjust the appearance of the sky any way you want. You can darken it, you can lighten it, you can fine tune it any way you want. Okay, our next example, we're going to use Lightroom. This is from Chapter 21, Removing Color Contamination from Stainless Steel. And you can see the front of this oven is really contaminated with yellow light from the incandescent lights bouncing off this oak floor. And this is a common problem with stainless steel appliances. So we're going to use the adjustment brush. I'm not going to touch any of these settings for the moment. Make sure auto mask is checked. Make sure that show selected mask overlay is checked, and paint the front of the oven red. Now, we're not really painting the front of the oven red. What we're doing is we're actually making a selection. Unlike in Photoshop and Elements, when you make a selection in either of those two, you get what are called marching ants. If you use those programs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you make a selection in Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw, the selection is shown by this red or pink or whatever color you have set up overlay on top of the area to be corrected. So we've made our selection. I'm going to get rid of the overlay, and it's very easy. All we have to do is slide the saturation slider to the left, the clarity slider to the right, and the contrast slider to the right. As you can see, we get a nice clean oven here. Now there are a couple of tiny little areas that I missed. I can just paint those in, and there we go. Okay, our next example, we'll use elements. This is from chapter 6, painting brown grass green. And many times in different parts of the world in the winter time, the grass turns this brown color when it goes dormant. And we'd like to have a nice green lawn here. So this is relatively easy to do. At this point here, we type Control-J to duplicate the background layer. Change the blending mode of the new layer from normal to color. I'm going to load in a selection, which I previously saved, of just the grass at the foreground. You can see the selection here. Click on the brush tool, hold down the Alt key, and click on any green anywhere in the image, doesn't matter where it is, and paint over the lawn. Now it's green, but it's not really all that attractive, but it's really easy to fix. Go up here, click on the Create New Adjustment Layer button, and we're going to create a Hue Saturation Adjustment Layer. So the first thing to do is slide the saturation slider to the right, and that's going to make our green more green. And in this case, slide the Hue slider a little bit to the right. And you have to be careful with this Hue slider because a little bit goes a long way. So somewhere right about there is okay. And I'm actually going to lighten the lawn a tiny bit, like that. And there you go. We have a nice green lawn that looks completely natural. Thanks for watching. This has been Image Editing for Real Estate Photography, the video series.